Hello everyone, how is it going? Welcome back to another video. All right, guys, so this is another video where I'm going to show you a complete guide on a particular character. And in this video, we are going to take a look at the complete guide for King of Atlantis Aquaman. So, the previous guide that I did, the complete guide was for Batwoman the Drowned. Now it is for King of Atlantis Aquaman. All right, guys. So before we get into any other stuff, I just wanted to let you know that if you are new to the channel and if you are watching this video for the first time, I would like to ask you to please hit the subscribe button and click on the bell notification for further updates on videos just like this. All right, guys. So King of Atlantis Aquaman is one of the top three best gold damage dealers in the entire game. And he is a must-have character. You need to have this guy. You cannot progress faster if you don't have King of Atlantis Aquaman. He's better than many legendary characters that we have, and he has a lot of things that will help you to progress faster in solo raids, in the league raids, in the arena, and in Champions Arena and in campaign as well, if you're a new player. All right, guys. So, what we're going to talk about over here is the same stuff that we talked about in the previous video. What are the best characters to use with King? What are the best artifacts? How exactly to use King of Atlantis Aquaman, like the gameplay and stuff. We're not going to exactly play, but I'm going to talk about how to play with King of Atlantis Aquaman and a little bit about the build as well and the stats. All right, guys. So let's first begin with the stats. Now, what exactly do you need on King of Atlantis Aquaman? So the first thing that we need to max out is critical attack damage. Yes, guys. So first thing that we need to max out is critical attack damage and critical attack chance. All right. And you can add a little bit of defense if you are using the all blades. Okay, because all blades, I'm sorry, all blades will take down a bit of health for from your king. So let's say if your King of Atlantis Aquaman is not fully maxed out like this one. If he's having he's 4 stars with level 40 or 50 gears, he's dying pretty quick in the solo race. The health is getting drained out pretty quick because of the all blades. Then you can add a little bit of defense, but if you're having king at 6 or 7 stars like this one, and if basically you're not your gameplay is very precise, you're not basically messing up with your gameplay, then there is no need to add any defense. What you can do is instead, and you can focus more on the gameplay so that your king does not die and you don't have to add defense. Now, since we talked about critical attack damage, critical attack chance, now let's talk about fast attack chance. Now, fast attack chance is also required because, in order to build combos and in order to increase the combo meter, obviously, and in this scenario, in order to get some more combo and get some more damage out of your special three. Okay. And fast attack chance is not mandatory to max it out, like at level 75. Even if you have I think if you have around 60, 65 plus percent of fast attack chance initially, it's fine. You can max it out as well, it's fine, it's no problem at all. you know but if you're a beginner, if you are like not having a lot of stats, like if your gears are not yet maxed out, then I think, yeah, it's okay to have around 60 to 70% of fast attack chance. All right, so there is no need to add any resistance. There is no need to add any sort of blocking and stuff, like all that stupid things that you see over there. There is no need to add any lethal attack chance as well. And defense, as I said, you can add defense, and that too from the talents, not from the gears. Okay, make sure that you remember that. So, yeah. So if you're having like critical build, then you can add defense. Now there is another build that we usually used to have, previously when we did not have these fancy new artifacts like dark metal cards and what do we call that? Crown of Karnak and stuff. So we also used to have a non-critical build. This one that we talked about was a critical build, and a non-critical build. What we did was we only added attack in every single gear slot that we are currently having. Attack on every single gear slot. Now that was for bosses like Captain Cold in the league raids, because eventually those kind of bosses are immune to critical hits and critical chance. So there was no point in adding any character that is more into like critical damage side of the game, you know, and those kind of builds usually they don't have the people don't use those kind of builds these days because you can easily get critical attack damage by dark metal cards. It's a free to play artifact as well. As you can see, I usually use my King of Atlantis Aquaman with dark metal cards. In very rare case scenarios, I use the All Blades now on King. But yeah, so make sure that you remember that. Now, the build that first we talked about was a critical build. Obviously, it was damage dealer. Both the builds were damage dealer builds, but there is a difference in those kind of damages and the bosses that you're fighting against. Okay, so make sure that you remember that. All right, guys. Now, since we talked about the stats, now let's talk about the artifacts that you can use. If you have dark metal cards, then this probably is the best artifact to use on King of Atlantis Aquaman. I have tried, believe me, I have tried using Crown of Kondak, but the difference is not that huge. Plus, if you're fighting against a boss that is immune or that is having increased resistance to crit hits and crit damage, then there is no point in using Crown of Kondak. Yes, Crown of Kondak is a really good artifact on a different set of characters like, let's say, Heartbreaker Harley Quinn, characters like Batwoman the Drowned. So at that point, this artifact will be insane. But in this scenario, I have tried it, and the damage is considerably low compared to what I do with dark metal cards. And if you don't have dark metal cards, then you can go with the all blades as well. If in case you don't have all blades, you don't have dark metal cards, you don't have any solo raid artifact, then you can either go with Claws of Horus. Okay, and even if you don't have Claws of Horus, okay, let's talk about the worst case scenario over here. You got no artifact, you only have the amulets. Then I think you should start using putting Amulet of Mind, because it gives you extra damage for basic and tag attacks and swipe attacks as well. And at 10 level 10, let's see if I have a level 10. No, I'm sorry, I don't have a level 10 artifact of Might, Amulet of Might. But yeah, I think Amulet of Might will be the last artifact that you might be using. But if you are a beginner, if you don't have any solo raid artifact, if you don't have any Azure artifacts, then this is the artifact that you should go for, so that you get more increased damage. And it also have increased attack against agility heroes, which is a plus point if you're fighting. But considering that you need to apply this character on a might character, which King of Atlantis Aquaman is. King is a might character, so yeah, so this is the worst case scenario artifact that you are going to use. That if you have Claws of Forest, that's great. And I mean, not great, but you need to have at least Dark Metal cards or the All Blades. Uh, and considering other artifacts, let's talk about God Killer. God Killer is not going to be useful over here because King's swipe down is a bit slow. So there will be a higher chance that your opponent will interrupt your combo. So please do not use God Killer on King of Atlantis Aquaman. Yes, there is another artifact. How could I forget about this? How could I? Nora Snow Globe. Okay, now King can do percentage damage with his special three for the first three special threes. Okay, not for all the special threes, but only first three. But when you have Nora Snow Globe, okay, when you have this artifact on King, and when your King dies, and when the clone tags in, then the clone gets those three specials again. When the clone does his first three special attacks, he can still take out 10% damage on each special three and deal a hell lot of damage. And this happens twice, in all three times, one with King of Atlantis Aquaman himself, and then the other one with the first clone, and then the other one with the second clone. Now, I have basically done around 70-75% damage, if everything goes great. If you are able to hit every special three, first three with King, the second three with the first clone, and the third three special threes with the second clone, then there is a considerable amount of chance that you will do around 70 65 70 or maybe even 75% damage to your opponent. Okay, I'm not like really good at math, so maybe I'm a few points up or down. So yeah, that's the general idea, that you will do a ton of damage, which will be eventually more than 50%. You will be able to take down more than 50%. Now this comes in very handy when you are fighting against bosses who are very high in the health. Let's say if you're fighting against a Raven, like the main boss Raven, or because she's combo interruptible, so the clones can easily combo interrupt Raven specials, I'm sorry, basics, and they can get enough power to do a special three, and you can do it. You can do three special threes with King, three with the first clone, and three with the second clone. So yeah, and then yeah, you can also actually use Zatanna's puppet. So Zatanna's puppet will eventually give you infinite power, but the thing is that you might you might not do a lot of damage like you will do when you're using Nora Snow Globe. So comparing, if we compared these two artifacts on King of Atlantis Aquaman, then I would say Nora Snow Globe would definitely win. Zatanna's puppet gives you infinite power. Yes, you will do more special threes. Yes, but eventually your damage will not be as high as Nora Snow Globe, and there are quite a bit of a chance that you will get an unusual gameplay if you're using Zatanna's puppet. So keep that in mind. And yeah, I think apart from that, uh, Twin Blade. Let's see, Twin Blade, not so much because King will mostly do the damage with the specials. Yeah, Twin Blade is much better on Flash, who can do more damage with the specials. So yeah, these are the artifacts actually that you can use on King of Atlantis Aquaman when you are. If you have these artifacts, it's great. And I've also talked about the worst case scenario. If you don't have these artifacts, then just put in Amulet of Might. All right, guys. Now, let's talk about the gameplay. How exactly to get the most damage out of King of Atlantis Aquaman by using the proper technique of game. Like proper gaming mechanics for King of Atlantis Aquaman. So how you go with it is when you start the fight, you first basically try to get enough power to do a special two. You do special two times. And the reason why I'm saying to do special two times is because let me show you the passive. There we go. Building tsunami and special two times will give additional 100% damage buff. Okay, and then after that, maybe you can also try to do it three times. Because special twos power cost is quite low. You can do it two to three times. It will hardly take you like 15 seconds to do two special twos, and then you can tag in your Dr. Fate, because Dr. Fate is one character. We're going to come on those characters that you need to have with King of Atlantis Aquaman. But first, let's just talk about the passives. Okay, the gameplay. So when you do first two special twos, then you tag in the other character, you build the combo, you tag out, you tag in with King again, you do a special three, which gives you 10%. Then you tag out again, then you do a special three, tag in King again, and then you do a special three again. And then when you tag out and tag in again, you do three special threes, which means you will have around 500% of damage buff. With two special twos and three special threes, you will get 500% damage buff. And then when you do the fourth special three, you will get the full stacks of damage buff on King of Atlantis Aquaman, which is 600%. That is the only thing, and make sure that you remember this because this only works in the raids, in league raids, and in solo raids, not in arena and champions arena. So make sure that you remember that. Uh, so when you get these 600% damage buff, the damage will eventually increase by a lot. And if you have the right solo raid artifacts or the right artifacts as per the game, as per the opponent that you're fighting, then yeah, your damage will eventually increase. And this is how you need to make the most of the gameplay for King of Atlantis Aquaman. Now, let's talk about the support characters that we usually use. Now, there is one support character. There are two support characters which probably do the same thing, but there is just one reason why I would prefer Dr. Fate over Power Girl is because Dr. Fate reduces the enemy's defense by 10%. Okay. Now, I'll take you guys to Dr. Fate real quick. There we go, Dr. Fate. And Dr. Fate just does not reduce the power cost. Like it also reduces minus 10% defense to the opposing team, not just the opponent, but to the opponent's team. So it will come in handy in the raids, solo raids, as well as in the arena and champions arena. So this is probably the best support character for King of Atlantis Aquaman, the first one. And then the second character, there are a few options that you can use instead of Shazam. If you have Shazam, it's great. Shazam will increase the damage for all Might and Arcane heroes, as we all know. Take a look at this: 100% attack for Arcane and Might teammates. But yeah, if you are a pro player or an intermediate player, now this is for like beginners, I would say. But yeah, I think a lot of pro players also still use Shazam. But yeah, there are many options like you can use. The options like Zatanna. I have used Zatanna a lot of times with King of Atlantis Aquaman. You can use Raven. You can use Vixen. But for Vixen, you need to tag in and tag out a lot because you need to get the reduced defense for Vixen. So uh, and then Vixen, then there is Raven, you know and if in case you're looking to do more percentage damage, then you can also try to team up with ROK Black Adam. I've also used ROK Black Adam as a teammate, not to increase the damage for King, but to get more damage, to do more damage on the opponent. Okay, now ROK Black Adam will not give damage buffs to King like Shazam will, or Raven will, or Zatanna will, but ROK Black Adam will just do more damage on the opponent. So that is what you need to make sure that you remember. Okay. Now you can also use classic Superman. If you're fighting a boss who is having high defense, you use classic Superman, do a couple of specials, reduce the defense. You tag in King, you use Doctor Fate with Father Box, to build the combo, and then you tag in King and you do the specials. So there are a lot of characters like Raven can do the darkness stacks. Raven can power steal as well. Special one with Raven, do 4 5 darkness stacks, tag in King, do a special 3. Believe me, guys, I have done around 400 million damage with King and Raven. And King was having I think the artifact that I had on King was dark metal cards, and on Raven and Dr. Fate, I think I had the solo raid artifact of that particular solo raid. So I did a huge amount of damage with King and Raven as well. Okay, so these are the support characters that you can use, but make sure that one of those support characters should always be Dr. Fate. Okay, do not replace Dr. Fate with Power Girl. I don't have Dr. Fate on my second account, on my Lord Lucifer's account, or on my main account, but I'm trying to get them. I'm trying to get Dr. Fate over there as well. So Dr. Fate is one of those characters which will help you a lot, in reducing the enemy's defenses. All right, guys. So that was the complete guide to King of Atlantis Aquaman. We talked about the stats, we talked about the artifacts, we talked about the build, critical build, non-critical build. And then we talked about the passes. We talked about the gameplay, how we need to go on with the gameplay, and we talked about the characters that you need to have in order to make sure that you get the most out of King of Atlantis Aquaman. All right, guys. So if you have any questions, please let me know in the comments, and I'll be more than happy to answer them to you. All right, guys. So thank you for your time. You guys have a great day ahead. Take care of yourselves. Be blessed and stay safe. Have a good one, guys. Bye bye.